Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to Chain Reactions, the show that breaks down all the marketing around you. We got a full packed house of co-hosts today, and I'm completely excited about it. I'm Arnav, head of media here at Myosin, and I have three very lovely co-hosts, some old faces, some new faces, and a lot of spicy hot takes to dig into today. How's everyone feeling?
Feeling good. Yeah, it's Wednesday, so
Yeah,
there's a lot to talk about.
happy
Good.
Wednesday.
Uh,
Happy hump day.
Yep. Oh, is it hump day? Wednesday's hump day? I thought
Wednesday's
Tuesday's
hump
hump
day.
day. Oh,
No, Wednesday's right in the middle of the week.
wow.
It's
So you're on the
Oh,
downward slope now.
okay. Okay,
yeah,
that way.
I
See,
don't know what you were
accelerate towards the
thinking,
weekend.
Arnav.
I don't know. Uh,
It's
well,
different out in it's
it's
different in
not
India.
a
Yes.
PR safe thought, so I'll keep it to myself. But anyway,
Uh,
we have a very interesting calendar, just itinerary to jump into today. So I'm just gonna walk you through what we're going to be talking about. So, first, we'll dive into water cooler. Some really interesting stories coming out from the East, from the West, what's happening in the East itself, what's happening in the West itself. You have OpenAI versus Apple. The case is heating up. A lot of stories coming out from that, and just the future of AI driven hardware is really interesting to dive into. And then the Chinese models becoming extremely competitive amongst themselves, which is a whole different ball game on its own, while they're trying to compete with the frontier models on the West. And then Reddit marketing, which I think, honestly, I don't see too many people talking about, but so many people are interested in it. So that will be a fun one to dive into. We will also have Jeff from the Newton Foundation to talk about the infrastructure layer for a lot of institutional players. So that's an interesting one. And a new game today. While I have Adaholic named here, I'm going to reveal that at the end. So stick around for that part.
real,
But let's.
real quick before we get into it, Arnav, can we bring back something we used to do on the old version, which is now that we're live, can as co-host we just kind of do a quick reshare, let our friends know that we're going live, just put it out into the relevant chats. I think it's always a
Yep,
good way to get things moving.
100%. Let's do it.
So we'll give it maybe a few minutes, but yeah. Go putting that out. Yeah, I guess Arnav, maybe just sing us a song if you can or something. Yeah,
No, I'll play some tunes
uh,
while we wait. But yeah, and
uh,
also for the people who have tuned in already and are joining in on the chat, drop in some stories you are having your eyes on. That's always interesting to look into. Like, are you
mhm.
seeing what we are seeing, or you're living in a completely different world to maybe where we are, because we're all chronically online pretty much at this stage. So I think that'll be a good one. Share it with your friends. Let's hang out. I think that should be fun.
Hold on. Right. Mhm, mhm. Mhm. Wait, if you don't mind sharing it in the Myosin Slack like we used to in Telegram, that'd be awesome.
Come on.
All right, give us a few minutes, folks. Get into it. Mhm.
The music is
I'm
intense,
like,
but I like it.
Setting a vibe. I like it.
Okay. think I'm good to go. Anyone else? All good?
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Boom. All right.
Are we good to go?
Yep.
Good to go.
Awesome. Okay, sorry to stop the really dope tunes, guys, but we got a red hot story to dive into, so let's do that. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes. For story of the day, U.S. threatening sanctions over Chinese AI models over IP theft. I mean, is anybody surprised by that at this point? I don't think so. But really, the interesting part, which is why I'm bringing this story up, is essentially so Alibaba, DeepSeek, the Kimi, all of these Chinese models, which are coming in at a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the cost of the frontier models, are competing at the same, if not slightly better levels in some use cases when it comes to giving the output that people really need. I know, Blake, we were talking about today how we could be using Kimi instead of the Anthropic models to reduce some of the costs. And it seems like a very interesting struggle where the Chinese players, because they were sanctioned and didn't have access to a lot of the frontier hardware, they became extremely efficient. And even though there is a looming cloud of, okay, your data could be leaked, or there's a security risk that comes with using those Chinese models, I'm actually looking at, from the people I've spoken to, looking at the completely opposite thing, where they're like, I don't care if I get the output that I need. That's what I need. And I also, which is very interesting, is a lot of these frontier model companies pretty much do the same thing. Like, they're using a lot of the inputs that you're giving it to train their models. So nobody is really in the clear per se when it comes to your knowledge sharing with the models that you use. I'm interested in knowing your thoughts. Like, do you feel like we will have a massive shift in the later half of this year to completely going open source Chinese models all the way? Because Anthropic, OpenAI are sitting on IPO hopes, and they're delaying and delaying and delaying it because they think, okay, there is still growth to be squeezed, and we don't want to go in a market that completely decimates our stock.
Are you asking us a question, or are you?
Yeah, that's a
Sorry,
question.
that
100%
went out
no.
of.
Because,
Yeah.
when I look at it from my perspective, like, there's also an Indian model that people don't really talk about, which this government is really interested in investing and putting money into, although I have my own quarrels with that at the moment. But yeah, I'd be interested in knowing, like, do you feel like even enterprise level players that OpenAI and Anthropic depend upon completely shift to Chinese models and they're shit out of luck?
I mean, basically, yes. I think at the end of the day, like, I mean, I'm American. I do love my country, but at the end of the day, like, what is fast? What is cheap? It is a big problem because fundamentally, and then also, what does the thing I needed to do the fastest and the best? And frankly, like, I was pretty frustrated because I feel like the past couple of weeks we heard so much, or past couple of months, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, Fable," and they're like, "This thing's hacking the government, and it's so dangerous." And I understand they need to do that to drive up, their valuations and make them seem really smart and competitive. But mm, as we've seen, like, Fable came out, and then OpenAI dropped, was it like 5.6 Soul, or whatever you call it, right? And then Kimi just dropped, and then I think like Alibaba just dropped their thing, and who cares? Like, if it
Yeah.
does the work it needs it to do. There are security concerns, but I think, there are ways to, I think, counteract that and be careful about what kind of information you're feeding into your AI models. There's ways to anonymize and kind of gatekeep that in the right ways. But fundamentally, like, I think this is a question of I mean, we're in a new Cold War. I don't think that's new to anyone here, but that's just the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it
actually
is what it is.
interested in knowing, like, especially from Paulina, because I remember on the last show she said that she's using local models, and her fiance is really intrigued by that. What have you seen? Have you seen like the, on a one-to-one comparison for the use cases that you use the models? Are you getting a better output from using something like Kimi than maybe Fable?
I mean, first of all, I mean, hot take. I'm not using Fable for anything unless it would be like a one-shot build that I would need to do ASAP. I wouldn't really use it. For other things, like I use Opus for all the planning, so I would basically brain dump all of my ideas, and then the Opus would create a plan. But then I will build it out with like JLM or Kimi. And I found that for these tasks, they are sufficient when it comes to, because I, work with copy a lot. Nothing comes close to working with copy as Opus does, but I like Opus 4.6 more than 4.7, for example, or 4.8. I think they're really dumb sometimes. Honestly, I don't know like why, but 4.6 works just great for me for these tasks, and I think it's a matter of just testing out different models for your workflow and figuring out what works, because sometimes like I have an interface where I can switch between the models quite easily, Opus, Codex, whatever, Chinese models. And sometimes when I feel like I'm stuck in the loop on some task, I would just in the same session switch the model and just like tell it to review everything that was done before, and like review the mistakes and based on my plan, and then it would rework. So it's basically like when one agent is failing at a task and like plays dumb, you can just turn on another one that would come in with fresh mind and just review everything.
Vic, what about you? I know you host these really cute meetups between different women that are in your area, and you talk AI models all day, all night long. What are you seeing? Do you feel like people have caught up to the fact that we should be all using open source Chinese models currently?
I don't think people even know that this is happening. I think like this is an echo chamber. We live in a bubble. I think the average person is still so overwhelmed by the technology. They just need someone to come in and be like, "Hey, this is how you download it. You need the desktop version. Here's how you prompt. Here's how you think methodically about what you're asking it to do. Here's how you give yourself security measures so you're not giving away your own personal IP and you're not putting you or your company at risk of copyright infringement inadvertently because of the fact that you're using these products." They have no idea that this is happening. I think for the average American person, all they hear every day is Claude, ChatGPT. They have no idea that there's open source models. I don't think they even understand what open source means and what the value of that is. That's my hot take. And I wish it could be different, but I think we're in a world where the AI arms race is very much occurring. I align completely with Blake's point of like we're in a new Cold War and it's East versus West, and let's see who comes out the victor.
Do you also feel like, we will ever reach a stage where, because open source used to be such a nerdy, used to be is a overstatement. I think it still is a extremely nerdy thing on the face of it. Like I think about the mom and pop shops that, started to use something like Lovable or maybe even Vex for that matter. And then they're trying to figure out, okay, like how do I go get more customers? Okay, I can build apps now using AI. Should I be trying my hand out at that? And then realizing that it's extremely expensive and backing off, but open source or these other cheaper models coming in as a alternative and them actually taking on adoption of that. Like I'm thinking about, is it just that okay, the AI labs are fighting with each other and they're living in a world of their own? Or do you feel like no, because people interact with it every day and ton of people are paying the costs, which are dramatically subsidized, but still people feel the pinch of it. Do you feel like that ever becomes the case where open source is suddenly, talk of the town, and most people want to, for the people who understand it and understand that they're paying the API bills for that? Do you feel like they will ever switch?
My hot take is no. I think people are inherently like lazy and comfortable in what they know. And once they get comfortable with the model, getting them to switch and experiment and learn a new way of working is going to be difficult. That's what I think.
Awesome. But apparently we aren't just fighting China on the AI war, so quote unquote. Apparently there is an Apple OpenAI case currently in, I don't know which court is it, but it's definitely there. And there are accusations of IP theft for Apple devices by OpenAI. Now, I'm actually not that interested in the case, even though it's a spicy one. What I'm actually more interested in is the future of AI hardware and the devices that we use every single day and how AI is integrating in it. From a software perspective, interestingly, we spoke about this in the last show where we were talking about how the top 10 of Product Hunt were actually not new AI tools, but rather AI tools that integrate with all of the other software that you're using, Slack, I mean, just, your keyboard, Chrome extensions, so on and so forth. Those were the ones that were the most popular. Even Visperflow taking a full deep dive into it and making sure that they're not looking at themselves as a standalone app or platform, but as something that lives natively on your device. So what I'm really interested in knowing is, let's say OpenAI, Anthropic, all of them dive towards hardware. What does that hardware look like? How is it different? Would people care? Would people use it? Is there a tangible future here? Because we started from like augmented reality glasses and we thought, okay, this is the future, metaverse, we're all going to live in a virtual reality or a Black Mirror episode. But didn't turn out to be the case. And now we have AI hardware. So where is it going? Paulina, I would love to get your thoughts on this.
I mean, what AI hardware are we specifically talking about here? Because there have been cases with like Rabbit or Friend, which I think are complete BS.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, there's like no use for them, even though they were so hyped up. And then there's things like Pocket, who people actually use on a day-to-day basis. Like, if I had in-person meetings, I totally see myself using Pocket, like to put it on a table or something. I don't see myself using it right now. Like, for example, most of the time, if I would meet someone IRL for work, it would be like at a conference or some event or something, and I cannot imagine myself being with my Pocket card, just like, speak into it, please. So that's not happening. If it's AI tech that's integrated into glasses, something like Meta Ray-Bans, for video, but
do
sure.
you really use it? Like, I think about it, and I completely agree with you. Like, every single attempt at it has failed. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch to say that.
I mean, if
I
they
think Meta
would
Ray-Bans
have,
is the only successful one.
yeah, I mean, if Meta Ray-Bans would have a functionality of Pocket, people would use it on more occasions. No.
I think, just chiming in here, I think the issue is just it's too early. Oh, is it me or did Arnav just freeze a little bit?
I don't know.
I think Arnav froze, but I'm happy to wax poetic. Basically, while he gets his internet back up and running. But in my opinion, what I've seen so often, I mean, this is just how technology works, right? There's a lot of people trying to build this
Sorry,
thing.
go ahead.
They're too early. Yeah, going ahead. They're too early. But you need these failures to get to the next thing, right? So these failures keep happening, and it's an endless cycle of innovation. And kind of like Paulina's saying, like, people just don't, we're also busy. Like, AI needs to feel seamless. Yeah, Meta Ray-Bans, that's one start. I'll be honest, like, I don't wear glasses. I don't want to wear sunglasses all the time. There's like privacy concern around that. Um, So I haven't gotten a pair yet, although I've thought about it many times. So it needs to become invisible. And I think the issue is that, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but like Alexa and voice was going to be the big thing for so long. And it didn't really take off because it was more like a fun gizmo, right? Like it wasn't working for a lot of people. But now that AI is good enough or is getting better there, I will say I use Whisper, and I've like some of my coworkers like use Plod, which is like a Pocket competitor, and I've like seen the notes. They're pretty good. They're not perfect, but they do the job. Like we're getting there, I guess. But I think like from a device perspective, like the hardware is just much harder, right? So you have to think about battery constraints, you got to think about form factor, you got to think about how intrusive is this in your day-to-day life. And then there's all the legal shit, right? Because even
Yeah.
with going back to Meta Ray-Bans, like it came out that all the video that you're recording is basically being routed through like a Nigerian like
Data
not
center
call
or
center,
like,
data center.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
You had all these
were
Nigerians
checking
like
the
watching
videos.
everyone's
Yeah,
video, which is
yeah,
crazy. And like people were like, well, I don't want that. So basically all this to say is like I think it's too early. Claude and Pocket are like the simplest, best examples to start. We'll probably see many more examples of startups that try to hack this and fail and crash and fail and crash. And but my hope is at some point it'll work. But honestly, like I have an iPhone and Apple's can't figure their fucking
Siri
AI
out. Yeah,
strategy out. You know, Siri still sucks, honestly. So
yeah.
yeah.
I honestly just think it's Apple being super territorial. Like, I'm not surprised that they're doing this, but there's always knockoff versions of hardware. Like, what are they going to do about that? And frankly, some of the like smaller brands do a much better job, to Blake's point, of like having longer battery life or just being affordable for people who maybe cannot go premium Mac all the
Yeah,
time.
I also think two things on that is I think one of them is just that because it's OpenAI, so Apple going berserk on them just made sense a little bit more, and they wanted to make a story out of it. Maybe I don't know because I think they're a partner with Gemini, so it just makes sense that Google and Apple are going all up on arms against OpenAI. Not to prove like not to say OpenAI is innocent in it, but just feels like there's more to the story than meets the eye. And the second thing on hardware, also with Meta Ray-Bans, I just feel like people were using it for recording video. That's it, like POV shots. Nobody really actually cares about the Meta AI in it, and that's the reason why they're using the device. Also, I think about like I remember the friend necklace that was launched a while back, and I used to think like devices for us are a way to connect with other human beings. But let's say we live in AI psychosis land so much where a human being would rather talk to an AI on their neck rather than another human being. Like that's, I think, for the companies that are thinking about hardware options, that they're almost living in this dreamland of we'll get so psychotic, but by using AI that we will just stop talking to human beings, and then that we live in a world. What was that movie that Scarlett Johansson voiced over? I'm forgetting the name. Was it called Her? It was called Her. Was it? Yeah. Okay.
About a man who was in love with a computer.
Yeah. So I think about that. Like, I think that's the
I
dream.
hope this never comes true because honestly, it's just
It's already happening. It's been happening.
It is
You know,
happening.
like the Japanese guys who felt like in love with their anime girlfriends, and then they shut down the servers, and like, oh my god. And the one guy literally got married. And that was like pre-ChatGPT, and now with ChatGPT it's way worse, right?
It's true.
Women too, by the
Yeah.
way. They're talking to and they're making up invisible husbands. Men are the waifu. It's on all
AI
sides.
boyfriend.
Humans are
AI
lonely.
boyfriend. Yeah.
Now is the time to double down on OnlyFans before you're gone.
AI OnlyFans.
Yeah. No, 100%. Okay. Let's get out of AI land and go into Reddit land. I think one of the things, because of AI, I think, but also outside of it, because of how aggressive Reddit particularly has been with shutting down bots, with making sure that Reddit seeding isn't a thing that a lot of companies can leverage and utilize. Audible came out as an example, although this is fair shot. We're a live show, but we do like to cover some older stories as well. This is an older story, but I think what was interesting for me personally was the fact that there is a very interesting thing happening where the companies are trying to crack Reddit, but they feel like they can do it in the exact same way they were doing it on other platforms without actually truly understanding why Reddit is so unique. There was a study that came out recently that 82% of Gen Zs trust Reddit as a medium to make a purchasing decision or just to understand what's really going on in the world. They actively pursue subreddits to figure out the world around them, which is interesting because that's the reason why a lot of companies are trying to break into it, but they're also not cognizant of the fact that there is certain lingo, there's culture, there's heavy moderation on how you can leverage it. I was speaking to somebody who does like Reddit marketing as a service, and the numbers were insane. If you get it right, I mean, they're talking like Audible did 10.6K karma on their campaign. What they were talking about is for several of their clients, they were able to do 10 million impressions in like 3 weeks on Reddit, which was like, wow. And for a fraction of the cost of what it would cost to do on something like Twitter or just through traditional ads. So I want to know, like, what is all three of us do marketing. What has your experience been with Reddit itself as a platform? Maybe how you use it, and then, yeah, the clients that you talk to, what are they looking at? What are they talking about when it comes to Reddit?
I think Reddit is amazing. In this day and age, I feel like it's a platform that hasn't been taken over by AI so much, and it actually has a lot of human opinions in there. I use Reddit for all the research for ads or like, ICP pain points and so on and so forth. I think monitoring Reddit conversations is a good place to it's like an early place to spot trends or news that are trending that people care about. So like I personally have scrapers for the brands that I work with to first keep my hand on the pulse with whatever is going on. Second, make sure that we fit into the relevant conversations that we can. So we set up like triggers and things like that for conversations that we can be involved in. And then, 10K karma it's a lot, but it's also, you can get karma by posting a meme in a subreddit and getting like, over 1K likes, right? Upvotes. And you can just post memes. Memes is like the easiest way to farm karma. And then, just be friends with mods, don't break the rules, and everything's going to be jolly.
Yeah, can I jump in? I also have been reading a lot about Gen Z relying on Reddit because I think that's the one platform that hasn't been AI-ified. When I look at Instagram, it's everyone is talking about, I made $1 million using AI. AI, but there's no like central place where like tastemakers are able to give opinions. So we're seeing people go back to like long form content and like chats, and I feel like I'm in 7th grade again in a way. Like Substack is sexy. Reddit is like the premier place. It's like the forum that like long form blog pieces. And I agree with Lena. I have my own agents trend setting, keeping an eye on what people are talking about before it comes online to the other accounts. But I also would like to say with Myosin, we've been able to work with different clients and leverage our own FDM product called Reddit Pulse. And we were able to form karma in a way that still had a human in the loop. And that's the thing people are messing up and what marketers aren't understanding about Reddit. I think Audible did a great job at it. But when I look at other marketing companies or agencies trying to get into the Reddit game, you have to really understand the platform. You have to live and breathe it. It's like the old days of reply guide before bots were a thing. Like, you've got to be genuine, you've got to contribute to the conversation in a meaningful way, and respect the mods at all costs, or you will get kicked out. Your post will get flagged if you're trying to show yourself. People don't care about that. People care about your opinion, about the topic they're discussing. They don't want to be sold your product. So knowing how to represent yourself and your product and brand in an authentic way while providing value to your community is the core of Reddit. And I think that's what Gen Z is really seeking in an era where they're literally sitting at work talking to their laptop all day. All they care about is really understanding and connecting with real humans and having unhinged opinions about random things that they love.
Boom. And just piggybacking off that, I'm doing a quick screen share because, I think it's memes, but it's like, I think for a lot of teams, when they don't have the people and they're trying to figure out with Reddit, like we had this issue with some of our clients. And so we actually built this tool called Reddit Pulse that we think is really cool, where basically for most people, when it comes to engagement, if you're not as like fluent in cloud code and you don't have your custom workflows, we've actually deployed this with a couple clients and seen some amazing results where it's really around, what are the subreddits that you want to be, monitoring and understanding. So it'll actually help flag and it'll help, pull up the subreddits. It'll help you actually figure out what are the responses that will work. And again, as Vic said, like, this isn't a bot farm. We're not like posting on your behalf, but it's able to say, here's the subreddits you should be looking at and thinking about. Here's the type of engagement that you should be thinking about, and here's how you could respond. Obviously, as a human, someone still needs to come in and do that final copywriting. But then once you post, you can actually start to track and understand, what's working, what's not working. But yeah, so just a fun one that I thought I'd share because we've used it and it's been really fun. And there's always more updates coming. So stay tuned.
Yeah. I also feel like how like one part of it is obviously understanding what's happening on Reddit. But one interesting way I also used it in was like how you can understand how people are talking about the problems they face that your product might try to solve in their own words. So when you think about like, LLM optimization and like being cited as a solution to the problems that people are talking about, this is a really good way to understand what words do people use, like how are they describing it, because sometimes because we live in an echo chamber and we're trying to build AI products and trying to build SaaS solutions, we sometimes forget, like Vic said, a lot of people don't even they haven't stepped out of the chat GPT stage at this moment. Like some of them have just discovered that Google has something called AI mode, and that gives them direct solutions. So yeah, it's an interesting story for sure. Final one for water cooler that I wanted to dive into was some interesting numbers on the ad spend when it comes to AI marketing itself. So let me pull that story up. I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago, and where at that time, what was interesting is we didn't have a lot of numbers, but recently, essentially, there have been a few forecasts that have come out that I kept an eye on. I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. So let me pull up this chart really quick. So essentially, the thesis is that OpenAI and OpenAI is betting on the fact that they will be able to introduce and propagate ChatGPT ads, and companies are going to pay for that, and that is probably the one golden parachute they have to their IPO dreams, to being revenue positive, to eventually being profitable. But their model is on shaky grounds, and this forecast is a really good representation of that, where people are open to them searching something, them getting their normal results as they do, let's say with Google in AI mode, to AI mode gives you a solution, and if there is an ad in the AI mode, people don't really mind it. And that's how, like, from a forecasting perspective, that's the direction paid ads in the AI sphere are heading towards. But companies like OpenAI are betting against it. We spoke about how Google has introduced all of these new types of conversational ads and placements that people can go through. I was curious to know, like, from some of the paid ad conversations that we're having recently. I know, Blake, we're working with somebody on that. Has this come up at all? Do you feel like they're paying attention to it, or are they just looking at, okay, let's get optimized for AEO and GEO, and that's what I should be concerned about?
So the question is around ad spending with AI.
Yeah, like,
effectively?
what are people asking us? Like, what are they demanding
They're
to
still
do?
not
What are they thinking
really.
about?
We're running some paid marketing campaigns for a couple different clients, and so far nobody's really asked for it. I think it's early. There's early alpha. We're keen to try it, and we're like testing it out with some people, but mostly it's still the basics. It's like you'd be surprised. Like, SEO is pretty much a given. There's a lot of people who are interested in AEO, right? So was it answer engine optimization, which is just like,
Yeah.
instead of Googling, and for those who may or may not be aware, right? Like just the idea of you want to show up in the, I'm going to ask ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, like, where's the best restaurant in this city, etc. So that's another thing we've been thinking about building, and I don't want this to become a show fest, but we built some products focused
Teaser.
around that, actually.
We're getting
Yeah,
a teaser.
But we can, I don't know. I can share that more later, but if you're ever curious, just hit me up. But yeah, I think the point is, like, SEO and AEO are still very much hot in demand. I think AI ads people are curious about, but it's still pretty early, I think. So I think it'll be a growing market, but even right now, people still want, they still want Meta, frankly. They still want Google, right? And then it just has the most reach. It has the most stuff built on top. It's easier to actually get in front of the customer and convert them immediately. And the algorithm is so damn good, it's hard to beat right now. I think the AI ads will come, but it's kind of, think about it, right? Like, you're in your LLM and you're chatting. Like, I think the form factor hasn't been figured out yet. So it feels a bit early. But that's also where the opportunity is. Yeah.
And there was another statistic around, like, AI powered ads. So, like, you're using AI to build creatives to, figure out different audiences and run that, so on and so forth. That spending hit 57 billion, which is
that is 100%. Like, that is on the nose. Because actually, I will say, like, we're doing that. We're building tools around that. There's a lot of tools out there already. Like. And I was just on Instagram like an hour ago, and it's so funny. I feel like for us and probably our listeners, like, we're pretty sensitive to that type of thing. But I'm sure, like, I got a bunch of ads. I was like, oh yeah, this. Whoever did this, like, used Higgsfield or whatever to, generate this ad. It was like a sock company, right? And it was so obvious it was like AI generated. But I think most people, especially the older generations, like, they're not aware of that, right? And then AI UGC. I mean, oh my God, don't get me started. Like,
yeah. And Google's Performance Max and Meta's Advantage Plus, both of them are, directed in this direction of, okay, now it's become an extreme volume game. It used to be a volume game before as well, especially for people who are really nerdy about it and spending a lot of money on it. But now it's just accelerated to a level where, the kind of results that people are able to get with, like, how quickly they can do that volume and what kind of results they can drive from it are absolutely insane. I do agree. Vic, Paulina, any thoughts here? I don't know. You guys are awfully silent on this one.
I mean, AI ads are early. I know people who've tested them out. They have not proven to work really well so far. And all people care about are, how efficient they can acquire users. And it's not the case yet. So when it will be, I'm sure they will eat up the market.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Vic, any thoughts?
Yeah,
Final
I
one.
just think it's too early to tell. Like I see a lot of promises, but the delivery isn't there yet. And there's also a younger generation that is so allergic to AI anything that they won't buy from you if you're not authentic. So it's kind of like it's still up in the air. I don't have a strong opinion about it yet. I'm kind of just biding my time and seeing where things land.
Makes sense. Okay, let's take a slight break before we dive into Markdown and have Jeff Marsilio from the Newton Foundation to talk about the interesting stuff that they're doing. I think it's good to go back to the how should I put it? Go back to our crypto roots from time to time and host somebody that's doing really awesome and amazing work on that front. So we'll take a break and wait for Jeff to hop on. Till then, let's bring the tunes back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeff Marsilio from Head of Commercial at Newton. Hey, Jeff, thanks for hopping on to the show today.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. I was absorbed in your chat. I was here in the, just kind of waiting and watching and listening and learning. And I lost track of time and didn't notice that you guys had called on me. So sorry that I was a little slow there, but happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. Obviously, Jeff, you've had a really interesting career of building a startup, getting that got acquired by MoonPay, VP there, and now founding head of commercial at Newton. So, we're all crypto natives here. Spent multiple years building out different startups and companies in that space. But for the non-crypto native audience, if you had to explain like Newton in 60 seconds to a 5-year-old, how would you do that?
Oh man, I don't know if I would bore the 5-year-old with blockchain stuff, but in short, I think even the mainstream audience that you guys I know now have probably appreciates that there's an enormous amount of money flowing onto the blockchain. And it's doing that because the blockchain can move money really fast. It can interconnect, we call it interoperability, but different applications for your money can connect with each other in a way that is almost like Lego bricks. And it's always on, 24 hours a day. You've got this interconnectivity, you've got this flow of money. So there's just enormous opportunity building in the crypto space. But in the traditional world, we're used to there being rules behind the scenes that govern how money can move. And right now, for the most part, those rules haven't followed the money on chain. It doesn't mean that they don't exist or they're not being enforced, but they're not being enforced where the money moves. Newton essentially checks rules, we call them policies, but it checks policies before an on-chain transaction can settle. Make sure those policies were met. Those policies can be anything. You can basically write any logic, any stack of rules that you want to apply, and it can query any data that you need to resolve those rules. But maybe most importantly, and in a way most different from the traditional world, is the way Newton does it. You can actually verify that somebody else has those rules in place and that they're enforcing those rules. So that verifiability means I, as an investor, can depend on a third party having guardrails in place that protect my money. That's Newton in a nutshell.
Awesome. How's the progress been so far?
It's great. I mean, it's I'm 4 months into the job. Newton has been building for a year because it's a it's a difficult problem to solve. But we just only a few weeks ago launched our mainnet beta. So I would describe it as early, excellent traction and momentum building, and really, really exciting. There's a recognition that this kind of a solution is necessary and inevitable. And it's just a matter of, I think, kind of hitting it in stride and getting the timing right.
Awesome. Any like big, I saw you have a lot of partners as well that you launched mainnet beta with. Give us some scoop.
You want alpha?
Yeah, we want alpha.
We always want the alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things I can say and things that I can't say. So let me describe what we've announced. We announced that along with mainnet beta, our initial use case focus, our wedge, is vaults. And we announced a bunch of partners that are helping us build solutions for vaults, and something that we call Vault Kit. Vaults are, you know how it is in crypto, like we kind of need to invent our own word for things that already exist in the traditional world. They're just pools of money, a little bit like a fund, you might see off-chain, that are managed by curators, often kind of automated according to rules. So as an investor, I put money into a vault. The vault manager or curator moves that money around to generate yield for me. And there's a lot of opportunity. There's, I think, approaching $15 billion in vaults today. But there's a lot of risk if you don't do it right. And the best vault managers or curators have all kinds of risk controls in place. But as I said before, a lot of them exist in these sort of fragmented places where, as an investor, I cannot verify that they're being enforced. What we've done is we've partnered with Chainalysis, who does sanctions and wallet checks and safety checks. They've got a really, really advanced security product called Hexagate that makes sure that any of your money movements are secure. We partnered with Redstone, a really big Oracle company that has a product called Credora that's checking essentially the creating and checking credit ratings of vaults and protocols and counterparties. We partnered with Webacy and Vaults.fyi. We partnered with Euler to integrate. Euler is a vault platform and lending protocol. You can integrate Newton directly into that vault platform. And now we have basically a lineup of additional vault platforms and vault managers or curators who are signing up to use Newton to protect their vaults, which in turn protects their investors.
Really interesting. Lake, go ahead. I know you're irking to ask a question.
No, I was just, I'm just kind of processing. I think, like, to make it very concrete for people, like, can you give an example of like the policies and, what's something that you're protecting against? And I think like let's start there. Yeah, like let's make it.
Let me. Vaults has been our main focus, but I want to step away from vaults for a moment to give you a couple of examples that might be a little more familiar. So, stable coins have been a really big conversation, and there was a regulatory act passed earlier this year that brings a lot of clarity to how people can use stable coins. There's more guidance coming.
Clarity. We all
Sorry,
want
I know,
clarity.
Clarity Act. That was the Genius Act for some reason. Genius, and then now Clarity. Clarity addresses all kinds of assets, especially tokenized real-world assets. So let me talk about those two examples. With a stable coin, when you move money around in the traditional world, you need to make sure you're not sending it to somebody who has been sanctioned. Right, by that where the government has said you can't send it there for money laundering or other reasons, right? I can't send money to North Korea. That would be against the law. And so those sanctions checks must be performed before that money can move. Today, unfortunately, in many cases on the blockchain, that those checks are being performed, but they're not being performed where the money moves. And that means that it can be bypassed. Or even if it is performed, you don't know that it happened, right? So you can't
Mhm.
verify. With Newton, you can make sure a stable coin hasn't moved unless that sanctions check has been performed, and you can verify it. And then with real world assets, or RWAs, as they're sometimes called, a tokenized stock or a tokenized
Mhm.
commodity, whatever it might be, sometimes in the real world, those need to meet certain eligibility requirements. It needs you need to be an accredited investor before you can take possession of a stock. Newton can ensure that that RWA does not move until that accredited investor check has taken place. Now, Newton is really powerful for those use cases, but because of the trust relationship between a vault manager and their investors, and because of the very long list of possible risks, we chose vaults as our first place to start. And some of the curators we're working with have like 15, 16, 25 different rules that require different checks, on-chain data, off-chain data. So we've got stacks of policies that are running before a vault curator can make a move with your money if you're an investor in their vault.
I like it. So I guess following up on that then, so I mean, to really, I'm just synthesizing as we go, right? Like ultimately, this is about compliance, right? And you guys are working with people managing the money, making sure that, it's being handled the right way. I'm curious to get your take on, it's something my co-founder and I actually have talked quite a bit about, of like, I still believe that decentralized finance will have a place in the world, even as traditional finance continues to kind of take up more and more market share. But on that note, obviously, like vaults is a great place to start, but how are the conversations? I'm assuming you're having conversations also with more traditional institutional players who are beginning to enter blockchain. So curious about how those conversations are going, like, and how.
No, I'm thinking about it. I think you kind of named, it's that collision where Newton is most important. So you kind of named the thing. There are crypto natives who have grown so used to many of the risks that I'm referring to that they're almost discounting them, and they're moving money around, saying like, all right, well, that somebody will get to that later, but I'm here as an early pioneer. And if they didn't come and adopt crypto, we wouldn't all be here. So thank goodness for them. But now there are trillions more of dollars that are ready to move on chain from more traditional asset managers, institutions, and so forth. And they haven't been inoculated in the same way to those risks, and they can't be. They're governed by they've got licenses, they've got regulators breathing down their neck. They have to be very, very down to the penny sure about the risks that they're taking on. So it's that collision where the wave of traditional money that's still growing, as you said, is moving into these new rails, where Newton comes in and says, the rules that you're used to applying in your traditional world can be applied here in this new world. And not only can they be applied, but we can prove that they are being applied. So you don't have to feel nervous about can I trust this counterparty? Can I trust this new DeFi protocol? You don't have to trust them because the rules are in place by Newton, and you can verify that they're Newton. That they're enforced by Newton. Maybe the simpler way to describe it is sort of an analogy that we like to use. I think a lot of people understand implicitly a kind of trade-off that with crypto today, it's a little bit like a Wild West, right? This is like a worn-out cliche. You're going into the frontier, but it's a Wild West. It's not safe. Your money can move freely. There's lots of opportunity. There's gold in the hills, but it's not safe for you to travel. On the other hand, if you need that safety, you wall yourself in, and that's the walled garden, right? What we describe Newton as like the walls move with you. They move with your money. It's like an armored locomotive into the frontier, right? Where you bring the safety with you, but you get to move into this sort of new world of opportunity. That's kind of how we think about it.
I like it. I've used a similar. I love the Wild West analogy. I think it helps really clarify for people. Another way I like to, very similar. The version I use is like, you know, obviously the innovators and the pioneers come, and there's opportunity in those hills. But like you're saying, you can make a lot of money, but you could also get killed tomorrow, right? But I think what, you know, another spin on it is, yes, it's the armored vehicles, and it's actually the establishment of towns and rules and law. You know, that, you know, what was a frontier town is now just becoming a normalized city with rules and regulation and things that you need to make those things work, which is really exciting.
That's it. And I don't want, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much credit for it, because the fact
No.
is, there are the DeFi protocols, the Aves and Morphos of the
Mhm.
world, the vault platforms like Veda, the Circles and Coinbases and the Curators. They can be and should be trusted, and they
Mhm.
are enforcing these rules. The bigger gap is not so much whether things are being enforced, but how do you prove that they're being enforced? And
Yeah.
Newton, really, that's the gap that I think more than anything else we close. So yes, we bring rules on chain, and in doing so, we close some bypassability risks. But
Yeah.
more importantly, we prove that the enforcement is happening. And I think that's kind of the final step to those trillions of dollars of institutional
Yeah.
capital moving into this frontier.
What's been like a, you know, let's say a constant challenge, or let's say, you know, what's the pushback whenever you're talking about Newton to a lot of these institutions? What do they generally say to you? And then like, what's the, you know, what's the way you explain it to them? Like, okay, this is not really the case.
It depends on who we're talking to. So you started with institutions, so let me start there. I think institutions are used to depending on trusting people and other institutions. And so coming in with a technology solution that reduces that need for trust is appealing, but it's not exactly how they operate. They basically say, well, let me go talk to that partner who I've chosen to trust and see what they think. And then that partner has their own enormous compliance department who they've invested a lot in, who they think can be trusted. And so it's kind of getting people to acknowledge that there is maybe a need to close a trust gap when they are so used to operating on the basis of trust already. And then maybe slightly more cynically, I would just say, for everybody else in the crypto world, we're in a difficult market, and there have been a number of exploits that has slowed the flow of money in. And the companies that we talk to are often first and foremost thinking about, how can I make sure that our assets under management are growing. And so I have to position Newton not just as like a nice to have compliance tool, but more like a value proposition that they can present to capital allocators. Like, hey, when you're competing with all these other curators and all the other vault platforms or issuers of RWAs and stablecoins, being able to explain that you're safer is going to mean a lot to your ability to attract that allocation. And I'm finding that those two challenges are very real, but very surmountable. And we're actually building a lot of momentum and getting a lot of traction, and it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Paulina, Vic, do you guys have any curious questions for Jeff here? Because I have another one, but I'm going to let the ladies take over.
I would say maybe the biggest challengers so far, or
Challengers,
something that you were sure is gonna work, but turned out maybe a bit different than you expected.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one. And because I'm so early, I feel like I have one of those every week. I'm still learning myself and just catching up. And I was going through my notebook. I normally have one notebook by me, but I just had gone so fast the last few months that I had like a stack of 3. And I was going back through my notes and just noticing how wrong I had so much, over the last year when I started. Like, dang, like I was, I didn't know what I didn't know. So I think the answer is probably a lot. One area broadly was our area of focus. Like I came in believing that stable coins should be where we start. And what I found was that the number of rules that must be applied to, well, first of all, there's still a lot of lack of clarity coming out of Genius Act that people are waiting for. And in fact, there was a deadline that was missed, I think, just this week that regulators are supposed to meet to provide that clarity. So there's a lot of waiting in the stablecoin world. That's number one. Number two, there is not as much conditional logic, the thing that Newton is particularly good at processing in the stablecoin space, as there is in something like Vault. So in terms of just like really differentiating ourselves, I felt like vaults were much more ripe than stablecoins were. So just that kind of order of prioritization and putting vaults, which were not as familiar to me when I started, in front of things that I thought were just like no-brainers, like agentic finance, stablecoins, RWAs. I thought no-brainers, do those first. And then this other thing that I was less familiar with, as I learned more about it, just kind of moved to the forefront. And I was surprised and continue to be surprised by how fast it's growing, how big it is, how many rules there are that live off-chain that I would have taken for granted as living on-chain. When I entered, sorry to jump around here a little bit, but just thinking back to when I first entered, crypto as a private investor in 2017, I learned about all the different ways you could use smart contracts, and basically the logic is what made them smart. But there are incentives to keep that very simple for purposes of interoperability and security and all the things that we were talking about. So a lot of the logic I assumed would live in a smart contract doesn't live there. And so the smart contracts aren't quite as smart as I kind of assumed that they would be. And again, that's where Newton comes in. We give you that logic, that ability to be sort of smart, and have all that conditional policy, but not be subject to the limitations of a smart contract. So hopefully that answers your question. I think that was kind of a few examples.
Yeah, quite a bit. Thank you.
I have one last one, unless we're running low on time, Arnav.
No, it's okay. You can go.
We got a minute.
Sorry, Vic. Sorry, Vic. Go ahead. I missed that.
No, what I'm curious about is like there's more like rules off chain that you weren't aware of that you were like learning. Can you elaborate that as like a piece of advice for people who are looking to build on chain? Because there's a lot of off chain considerations and regulations that we don't necessarily think about. And I think a lot of the builders that are building on chain are looking for democratized transparency, like open kind of like work models, whereas there's a lot of regulations that are coming into play depending on where you're building your business in the world and how people interact with it. Like, how are you shaping up? What are some lessons that you've learned, and what advice could you give about these off-chain rules that you need to be aware of?
Great question. So every vault is managed by not really one person, but a team of people. Typically, right? So we think of the curator in this sort of monolithic sense, but there's groups of people at these companies, and they have different roles. And the roles have their own permissions, and those permissions and roles tend to exist in either off-chain processes or more likely inside of a wallet that others cannot see. So I, as a curator, will describe to my investors what those rules are and what those permissions are. They cannot see those permissions on the blockchain where the money is moving. They cannot see whether I am or my technology is correctly enforcing those rules. So there are examples, countless examples, and this is, by the way, this is not just a vault thing, this is everything. Like, there's an example that bled into vaults from just a few months ago with Resolve, where there was a stable coin where an attacker got control of private keys that allowed them to mint millions of dollars of money that wasn't backed by anything. And then the stable coin essentially depegged. So it looked like it was worth $1 still, but the information that governed whether it really was worth $1 was out of sync with the blockchain. Essentially, I'm kind of simplifying, right? And then that stablecoin was used in vaults as collateral, and people thought, oh, look, more, this actually was getting good yield, and they were piling more money into those vaults and just, compounding the losses as a result. And there ended up being many millions of dollars lost as a result. So you had a combination of off-chain signals that described the health of an asset. You had off-chain controls as to who could mint that asset or how much of that asset they could mint. And then the vaults were really not aware of what was going on because their information was out of sync. You just had lots of off-chain controls that were out of step with reality without anybody really being the wiser until millions of dollars had been lost. So most of the losses that we see today are not really failures in the strict sense of a smart contract. Code is doing what code is programmed to do. It's not getting hacked in that way. It's more like somebody has been social engineered to lose their keys, or some process that exists off chain didn't go the way it was supposed to, or some data signal is out of sync in time with the movement of money on the blockchain. Things of that nature are creating gaps. And when you are able to move those rules into the blockchain and take the data that's off chain into those rules and enforce them before transactions settle, you can avoid a lot of these losses as a result. Not all of them, but it really tends to contain the contagion.
Blake,
Thank you for that. Like,
Blake, we gotta be.
Yeah, we can move on. I just want to it's just going to be a quick question around agentic finance, but I also want to give our friend Nadia at Lagoon Finance a shout out, because I just sent her a DM. I was like, oh, I'm talking to this guy Newton. I think you guys should chat. And but she's like, sounds like you guys are already talking. So
you just texted Nadia? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. She's awesome. Yeah. And they're actually please.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, they're somebody that we really want to work with and have some early conversations going with. And she's awesome. She's been like really generous with feedback. So I think a lot of what I'm saying is probably filtered through some of the things that I've learned from Nadia, because Lagoon is one of the very best places for institutional capital. So the collision, Blake, that you identified earlier, is happening on Lagoon. Like, that's where it's kind of happening. And if you are an institution or just somebody who cares a lot about risk, Lagoon really should be one of the first places that you look, because they're really handling it about as well as anybody can handle it. But she and I have talked about how Newton can kind of help prove that they're handling it, or that their curators are handling it as well as they are. That's really where we come in.
I love how we don't just interview people, we connect them together.
Connect them, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we
One
actually,
of a kind.
not even a friend here listening. And we actually had her on an episode. We've run this show in many formats, but the last season we did when we used to do as a podcast. So we actually had Nadia come on, talk about Lagoon. I think like a couple months ago.
Well, I hope, look, if I'm lucky, fingers crossed, maybe Nadia and I come back together someday and talk about things that we want to do together.
Fingers crossed. Awesome. I don't want to take too much time, so I'll just kind of I'll throw it back to Arnav. And
Jeff, I think, I don't know if you have an announcement to make, because Arthi hinted at something that you guys are about to release, or some kind of announcement that you had to do.
We actually have a really significant announcement coming in the next few days, and I would be really in trouble if I even hinted as to what it is. But I think what it represents is a doubling down of on Newton, and really just kind of really believing in this thesis that I walked you through. So I can't even hint. I'm sorry, but you'll look back in a couple of days and you'll say, "Oh, that was actually that makes sense. That was a really big thing, and I understand why Jeff couldn't say more about it. Strict NDA and all that kind of stuff." But we've got we've got big things happening in our ecosystem, and maybe just sort of an observation is it's a tough, if you're a sort of retail investor, and I on the side I dabble in crypto tokens, it's tough. It's been really tough. It's been really hard out there, and I talk to a lot of crypto companies who, whether they've got a token or just trying to build a business, are having a tough time, and I have enormous sympathy for them. But at the same time, I've been around this space now for 9 years, and it's never been and it's a cliche to say this, but there's never been more tailwinds. There's never been more traction. There's never been more promise. And I see that every day. And I feel like that's true for Newton, but it's just true for the broader space. And it couldn't be a more exciting place to be building with that, that major caveat that financially at the moment, for certain investors, it's not so hot.
Awesome. Okay. You've left us with enough of a tease that we'll keep our eyes peeled on you and Newton for the next few days.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, we'll come back and we'll look at it all in retrospect, and I'll help put it in context someday down the road. But thank you very much for having me.
100%. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
See ya.
See y'all. Okay, awesome. We've just put Vic on center stage.
Hello.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, it's time for my favorite part. Oh, yeah. Before I jump into the section, I really want to ask, do you have your pens and papers ready?
Oh, I need to get mine, but yeah, give me a second.
No, I forgot. Hold on.
Okay, time out for 2 minutes, people, and then
No. All
we...
right. Yeah. You do.
Okay,
You need to remind us.
Straight up. Blake is straight up just picked up the laptop and went into some place to get his diary and pen. Pauline is just chilling. She's like, yeah, I got this handled. She has a game face on too, so I'm worried. I'm worried about you, Vic and Blake. I have a feeling
I don't want to use this
about this
I
one.
know, I'm right now too. Hold on. I need to go borrow paper.
I just want the notebook. Where am I put it?
See,
Yeah,
people,
we
you
use
get
pen and paper
you get to see bloopers on this show too, so you should be, it was really
It's
cool.
always fun. Wait, where did I put this?
When we say unfiltered, unpolished, we mean it. Truly, in all sense of the matter.
All right, fuck it. I'll use this notebook. All right, I'm good to go. Oh, waiting on Vic. Okay.
Yeah, this is really raw and unedited, gang. I borrowed a ticket order taker from the waitress.
Awesome.
Right.
Okay, people, it's time for chop or bust it. We always have creative names for the games that we play. Adaholic was a favorite one, so I decided, let's take it a step further, but make it slightly easier for you guys, because apparently Adaholic was in a gray area of its own. So I dumbed it down just a tiny bit for you. Give you hints.
Thank you.
So that it can be more competitive and can be more interesting. So I'm excited for this one. Okay, time for chopped or busted. So here are the rules of the game. Similar to Adaholic, there are 5 points to be gained. You're all playing individually. There are 2 things that you'll be shown. You'll be shown a set of emojis that represent a company, along with the riddle that also represents the same company. So you have like the emoji and a riddle.
Oh.
So you can
I'm so bad with this.
Yeah, it's either
Riddle me
category
this.
of brand for 2 points, or the brand itself, or the brand for 3 points. Both collectively, 5 points. Whoever gets the most number of points at the end of chopped or bussin' will be either chopped or bussin'. So let's get
All right.
into it.
We stay buzzing. Don't be chopped now. All right.
Yep. Okay. Oh. Okay.
There's a row for you.
Okay, guys.
Oh,
You can pretend
okay. Well,
that
this
you
one.
didn't see slide 2, but okay. Let me read it out. So 1 byte changed humanity. 1 garage changed technology. 1 founder was thrown out. 1 company made him worth returning. And those are your 4 emojis.
Done.
What is the
I
category,
knew
man?
instantly.
And what's the brand? This is
Wait,
an easy
that's
one
the
anyway.
company.
So not too worried about it.
Fuck, I'm so bad at this.
Company and category. You don't know this one? Oh, disappointing.
This is a very easy one, like really, really easy one. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drum roll, please. Okay, guess who's
Apple.
on the screen, people?
Uh,
Apple. Okay, let's see. Is it Apple for everybody? Did everybody
Nice.
get? Okay, everybody gets 5 points. There we go.
nice.
Okay,
Nice and
can you
easy.
explain the emojis, please?
Explain
Why
the
is there a
emojis.
woman? Why is there a woman there? Should remove-
Because forbidden fruit.
Adam and
okay.
Eve. Apple.
Forbidden fruit.
Forbidden
Exactly.
fruit. Bible.
Bible. That was very
One
biblical. I
bite.
think.
A bite of an
Uh,
apple. They started in a
I see.
garage. Steve Jobs was thrown out.
But where's the
And
man
then he
then?
came back.
Yeah,
Adam
you're
is-
just school.
You're
Okay,
being
well,
too literal. You're being too
Adam
literal.
is
not-
insignificant. It's all the girl's
Yeah.
fault. You don't know?
Yeah. It was the girl that ate the apple. Sorry.
They always blame us.
Okay. Here's your
Okay.
next one. My name exists because someone couldn't spell. My logo changes frequently. I organize the world's knowledge while forgetting almost nothing. And
Okay.
those are your emojis.
Very confident in this one, but let's see.
See, I'm starting you off with the easy one, guys.
Yeah.
You'll be
I was like, these better get a bit harder. Now
Yeah.
we went too far the other way. Let's see.
no. I'm slowly ramping it up because
Okay.
I learned that with you guys. I gotta take it slow, nice and easy.
Ease me in, baby.
Or-
You know.
I was like-
At least buy me dinner first. Come on.
That's what she said. Relax, everyone.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Guesses, people.
Google.
Paulina. Okay. Paulina, what
Y'all
are
got
you
it?
written? I can't see your screen.
Google.
Google.
Yeah,
Okay.
we all got it.
Everybody got Google. Okay. I'll play
You can
it
skip
before-
ahead. Give me something hard. You're teasing us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What about this one?
Nice.
Once you see
Oh,
my
fuck.
greatest feature, you'll never be able to unsee it. This is a really tricky one. See, I took you. I tricked
Oh
you.
yeah. Sorry.
I tricked you.
Once you see my greatest feature.
Hmm.
This one's okay. This one's harder. I'll give
You
you that.
asked for it. You asked
Yeah,
for
I take it back. Give me something easy. I was feeling so good. Okay.
it. Okay, I'll let you. I'll let you take a few seconds to ponder on it, because this is a curveball. I literally threw a curveball. This is not an easy one.
Yeah, I don't.
But the hint is on your screen. I mean, you just have to be a little.
I get it. Wait, is the
The
yeah?
box. And then let's see. Ah.
I'm
Okay.
good. Stop the
All
clock.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Guesses on the screen, people. Okay.
FedEx.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
I did
Dropbox.
Dropbox.
You did Dropbox. What did you do, Vic?
Deep seek. The eyeballs.
DeepSeek.
And like,
Okay.
It's
All
FedEx.
right.
Is it
It
FedEx?
is FedEx.
Yeah. It's the
Okay,
arrow.
Crazy.
Because you guys don't.
What-
This is famous in brand lore. Is the arrow? It's like right between the E and the X at the end. So it's
Yeah.
like a hidden symbol of like shipping. So when he
Oh,
said, as
Do
soon
you
as you
know
were like,
I never knew this? This is like the first time I hear this.
now I can't
No.
unsee it. Ugh.
now
Now
you
I
know.
can-
Well, that's what he said exactly. Once you
Yeah.
know, you know.
Wow,
Dang
we
it.
learned.
Right. Lena, we've got to catch up here.
Okay. This is a, let's say, relatively easy one. I'm taking
Oh.
you down a notch before taking you up.
These are
Literature
fun
gave-
though.
Yeah.
this
Literature
is
gave
great.
me my name. Mythology gave me my face. Caffeine
Ready.
made me rich.
Um,
Okay.
This one might
I'm not
confuse
even gonna do a drum roll on this one, people.
Yeah.
This is by far the easiest one. Guesses, people on the screen. Okay.
Oh wait, Vic. What? Wait, hey, what are you doing? What? Wait, why does Vic put a thing up?
Vic, where's your guess? Okay.
Sorry.
Starbucks. Okay, Paulina.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Starbucks. Okay. Here we go. Easy one. Easy peasy.
Easy.
Dang it.
And now here's your hard one.
It's not hard. I don't think.
My happiest place has caused more crying than almost anywhere else on.
Done.
What? Wait.
What? Wait.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, Blake is leading at the moment, all right? I'm not gonna split
Yeah.
points this time. So,
Well, I'm keeping track too. Are we showing?
yeah, just
Wait,
a
are you
second.
done?
Hold on.
Okay.
hold on. So
Good
Blake
place.
is at 15. Vic and Paulina are at
No,
10.
I'm at 20. I got
No.
Apple, Google, FedEx, Starbucks.
Yeah, but oh, okay, my bad.
You're only one
Yeah, one
answer
one
away
guess,
from us.
one guess up. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
one guess.
know. Wait, he said 15. I'm at 20.
No, you're 20. You're right. Okay. All right, people. Drum roll, please.
I forgot
And
the name.
guesses.
Disney.
Okay, Blake, Disney.
I did
Vic, Disney. Okay. Did
Oh,
you get
she
Disney?
got it in the end.
Everybody got Disney? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, happiest
suspicious.
place on
I don't
earth.
know. I don't know. You were really
Okay.
pondering that one, Paulina. I'm not
Okay.
sure you weren't using
Yeah,
AI.
because I wrote Disneyland, but then I was like,
Yeah, but both are correct. I mean, it is Disneyland. So
yeah,
I'll
but I
give you
was
that
like,
one.
I'm done.
Okay.
Blake.
Oh my god. Like, relax.
I just want to win.
I survive where humans often don't. Yet most of my owners never test me.
Mm.
I know. Done.
I don't know.
I'm so happy when I know, but when I don't, I'm like, it's true.
You, me, and everyone else. Yeah.
Okay. All right, people.
Ready?
3, 2,
Yeah.
1. Drum roll. We
Rolex.
gotta wait for the drum roll, guys. Okay, Rolex. Vic, what's your guess?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed. Go
What
for
is that?
I just saw the name
GoPro.
first.
Oh. This is a
You know,
crown and a
I-
watch. Yeah.
It is-
I
yeah,
thought
there
first
is a-
Omega, but then the crown.
Yeah, the crown.
Oh,
Okay.
dang
So
it.
now Blake is up to 30.
Blake is a
Paulina
watch connoisseur. This makes sense.
I do love watches. Oh.
Okay. So, Vic.
I think originally it was
Vic
Land
is-
Rover or like Range Rover, but then I saw the watch and the crown. I was
Amazing.
like, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is another easy one, I think.
Yeah.
My smallest
these
product.
emojis are giving- I think these
Making it too
emojis are
easy
giving
for
too
you?
much away.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. 3, 2,
Ah.
1.
I got it.
Drum roll. Guesses.
No, I have no guess.
Lego.
Okay.
Lego.
Lego.
Lego. Okay.
Oh,
First wrote
did you
IKEA.
get that? was like,
I'm very
something
happy because
specific.
normally I'm not
bricks.
Yeah, the bricks, they're right there. Smallest product.
Oh.
I'm very happy because normally I'm not actually that good at riddles, but for some reason today I feel like I feel smart.
Okay.
Oh, she was
This
saying
is
it.
a
Uh-oh.
this is a tricky one.
Oh, I know.
Oh, this one I don't think.
The most famous thing I
I'm done.
ever promised has never happened.
Uh-oh.
Will I get ahead now?
You might get ahead. I don't know.
I don't know.
Paulina just might be scoring points on this one. Okay. I'm not gonna give you guys too much time now because we gotta wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Roll, please.
Stop dating.
I don't think I got this one,
Guesses.
but
On the
I didn't
screen,
even
people.
get it.
Red Bull.
oh,
Oh, you're
I put
right.
Theranos.
No wings.
What's your guess, Blake?
I said Theranos.
Theranos. Vic, what was your guess?
Vic was a blank slate again. Vic sucks at riddles, but I'm having fun. I'm here. I'm here for vibes.
Okay. So Blake and Paulina are tied at 35 points.
Nice. Oh,
Now this is your last one, and this is by far the most difficult. Your brand lore knowledge has to be on like Omega
I'm
level
done.
for you to get this one.
there are
Yeah.
two
You know,
options.
if you know, you know. There is an easy part in this, but there are two brands that could be. So okay, all
I
right,
feel like I'm guessing the wrong one, but I have to move quick, so.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Guesses, people
Ferrari.
on the screen.
Ferrari.
Ferrari and Paulina. What's your guess?
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Oh God.
I didn't even guess.
Okay.
Yeah. We're too
I first
smart.
put Lamborghini and
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, it's a bull in a
It's a
Lamborghini.
bull, yeah.
Yeah, I almost, but Lamborghini did tractors. I didn't know Ferrari did planes. Okay, keep going. We
No,
gotta
it's
break the tie.
speed. I guess
Hey,
it's the speed.
I gotta
Oh.
go soon, guys. I have.
No, go. Every December I expose you. Wait, I can't see the screen. What is it? Are we doing this or not?
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
Oh,
my
I
bad.
know already. I'll know.
Wait, no, we gotta
It is
cancel.
easy.
We're done. Yeah. No, I give
No.
up. Wait, no, we gotta end it now. We're perfect. We're tied.
No,
We're
no,
at
no,
40.
no,
We're
no,
good.
no. Let's go. Let's go.
You two,
Every-
you
Every
two go.
December.
You two,
Every
you
December,
two
I
go.
expose you
Oh.
more accurately than your
Oh,
closest
well, I
friend.
actually know what it is. So, all right, fine.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
Okay.
Calm down, people.
on. Okay. Done.
All
Okay.
right.
We might have to stay at tie.
Okay.
Spotify.
Screen.
Done.
Oh, good
Okay.
God.
Next
Okay.
time you gotta make them harder. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta make them harder now. My logo belongs on a beach, but you usually find me beside a highway.
Oh, I know.
3,
Okay, hold on.
2,
I'll write it down.
Wait.
drum roll.
5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
1. Write it down.
Write it down, Paulina.
I'm ready
What
to
is
show,
it?
but she's waiting.
I'll give it
I
to
don't
Blake
know.
if you.
Your
you
hands have
have
to be
give-
up.
Are you giving up? Are you forfeiting?
It's shell. Too late. It's shell.
Blake
Shell?
bussin'. Blake is
Yeah.
bussin' and
Yes.
wins.
We are
Chop
busting.
or bussin'.
Sorry, Paulina, you're chopped.
Sorry.
Next time.
Is Shell an American
It was
veteran?
it was a tough, well fought battle. I love it.
Mm,
Always love it. Always love the energy on the Game of Fire.
that was fun.
And we come to the end of yet another brilliantly awesome chain reaction. How are we feeling, guys?
Oh, great. I think next time we got to make the game a little bit harder. But it was fun because we could just go. Boop, 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 boop.
I've tried harder with you guys, and then I have to do hits.
There's a balance. We'll get the calibration.
Yeah,
We'll get the medium.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. I give you an easy one this time.
Yeah.
It's still
It was
hard.
still fun.
Yeah.
Very
Well
fun.
done, Paulina. Thumbs up to you. I think it was well done.
We need to
I really
start
thought you
having
guys won't
prizes
get
for this.
Ferrari. Very honestly.
No,
So,
that was easy.
And
I
looking
think
forward.
Ferrari was
Do we have any HiveMind announcements, Blake? I thought we launched the paid plan for HiveMind, right?
Yeah, there's a paid plan out, and then we also launched a like go-to-market autopsy, which is really cool. So basically, you can just insert your URL, and you can get roasted by HiveMind, and it'll give you like a go-to-market autopsy, telling you like, hey, here's some obvious things you can work on, etc. And if you want to go actually talk to HiveMind, which is our in-house, ultimate marketing strategist, powered by all of our amazing members, including Helena, Victoria, Arnav. Actually, we need to have you contribute a little bit, and a bunch of our members all around the world. It's like Claude or ChatGPT, but way more opinionated and powered by the insights of the network. So go check it out, mindset.xyz/HiveMind. And you can do the go-to-market autopsy right there on the site. Just tell us what your site is, and we'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. That's a wrap, people. Thank you for tuning in to the episode. This one was really, really cool. So thank you to
Always
all
fun.
hosts for making it a party, jumping on.
It's a party.
Awesome. See you guys
All
on
right.
the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Vic is sticking around.
No, yeah. Give me one sec. Need to hang up. How do I hang up? Bye.
Bye.